Hi, welcome to Anaprime Recap. You take a midnight stroll through your school and encounter the hauntings that inhabit the place. We're in the anime, The Immortal King, Season 2. Episodes 4, 5 and 6. On another day of class, the students are learning about the maintenance they must have with their swords, being guided by instructor Wang and his companion Lu Ying, thus receiving tips and warnings about what not to do with their spiritual weapons. On the way home, the group of friends comment on the situation of their blades after the tournament. Sun Rong explains that there is a type of maintenance suitable for each type of weapon and this repair is based on the size of each one. Chen Zhao and Kuo Hao ask Wang Ling about the situation of their spirit swords, at which point we find out that the spirit that inhabits the protagonist's weapon is able to go on its own for repair and at this very moment was in the maintenance garden. The next day, the youngsters go to a store that specializes in spiritual weapons and are amazed by the immense amount of energetic objects that exist in that establishment. There, the group of friends discover that their classmate Lin Xiaoyu works as a professional blade repairer. Sun Rong then asks the girl about her family and she tells a brief story about her sad past, where she was left in the care of her sister at her parents' request, but when she was 8 years old, her sister left her to go to work in another city with the sword concert, saying that in 3 days she would be back, but so far she has not returned to her home. Since then, the girl works in various repair stores, in order to someday meet her only relative. Chen Zhao is moved by the whole narrative told by his colleague and asks if this is the reason why the girl doesn't have a spiritual sword, but she answers that she doesn't have one just because of lack of money. Wang Ling questions the girl about how she will do the classes involving spirit weapons since she doesn't carry any with her. Before the young woman can give an answer, Tang Jin arrives on the scene with his friends from 59 High, thus demanding that Xiaoyu work on their blades as quickly as possible. Chen Zhao confronts the young man, generating a tense atmosphere in the establishment. The girl then asks everyone to calm down and that she will repair all those swords, so the young man and his colleagues leave the place still making jokes about the situation. Sun Rong and her friends, already on their way to leave, argue about the fact that Xiaoyu doesn't have a spirit weapon. The girl prodigy offers to buy one and give it to her friend as a present, but Kuo Hao says that it could hurt her self-esteem. Wang Ling then has the brilliant idea to forge a sword for her colleague. His friends agree to the plan, so they all hide out in a store that specializes in creating spirit weapons, waiting for the right moment to act after their friend leaves for home at the end of the day. The protagonist shows the design he made to start the project, and Chen Zhao, looking at it, is elated with the whole situation and immediately pulls out a sledgehammer, ready to put his hand to work, but Sun Rong warns him that they should first examine the materials that will compose the blade. Kuo Hao is the first to do the analysis of the material he brought, so the machine points out that that object is level A, specifically, a demonic night tiger tooth, a level 3 spirit creature. Chen Zhao wastes no time and then places a small figurine he took as material. The reader immediately establishes that object as S level. Kuo Hao is impressed by the very high rank of that piece and asks where his friend got it, so we find out that the young man got that artifact from his family's temple. Sun Rong, after being asked what she had taken as material, pulls out a green bottle from her pocket and upon putting it in the machine, it is pointed out that this is a universal hair growth lotion, a genuine S-level treasure. Wang Ling then goes to analyze the material he has brought with him. He carries with him some sort of large amulet, and when asked by his friends where he got the piece, the young man replies that he found it near his house. Yes, guys, but what his friends didn't know was that this object belonged to the master of the trotting frog. Specifically, it was part of the staff that the creature carried as a weapon. It was found near Ling's residence because it was there that the demon master was destroyed by the protagonist's uncontrolled energy. Sun Rong then explains that the next step is to place all the materials in the furnace and only then to begin the forging process. The night ends and in the morning Xiaoyu arrives for another day of work. While the girl was doing all her morning checks, she has the incredible surprise of finding her colleagues already at the beginning of their workday. They then hand the sword to the girl who is immediately very moved by this act. Mainly because that spirit blade looked too much like her sister's. Wang Ling somehow knew this fact and designed the weapon that way on purpose. The moment of excitement is immediately cut short by the arrival of Tang Jin, who has had his sword restored by the store manager himself and orders Xiaoyu as a worker, to help him test his newly repaired weapon on a training ground. The girl obeys since one of the functions of the establishment's employees is to perform a test with the customer. At a training camp, Tang Jin begins to manipulate his sword and in a matter of seconds manages to cut a tree trunk in half like a piece of paper, then conjures a freezing blizzard toward Xiaoyu. Taking advantage of the moment, the young man advances towards the girl and strikes a sharp blow with his new sword. At that moment when the two weapons collide, Tang Jin experiences a frightening sensation of being observed by several eyes around him and immediately finds himself in the midst of an immense power. Xiao Yu's sword then begins to devour the spiritual forces of Tang Jin and his guardian spirit, Snowstorm. And to stop it, Ling calls out his wooden sword and at extreme speed cuts the young man's spirit blade in half, without anyone suspecting that he was responsible for it. The guardian spirit of the protagonist tells him that his maintenance had ended and that the girls were full of passion, and so we find out that Xiao Yu's sister is one of these young women working in the maintenance garden. On a dark night, Lin Xiaoyu finds herself in front of a mirror with a look of anger and contempt. The young woman was being possessed by the spirit of the trotting frog master, who was enraged that they had used his ring of chaos to forge a simple sword. He opens a Sword of Spirit screen and searches for the human who did that atrocity. Thus finding that Sun Rong was the person responsible for turning his weapon into something else, he falls into laughter and speaks that he will revenge his demon race next night. At the end of another day, Wang Ling and his friends spy a scene between two students in a classroom. The girl offers a small sachet to her classmate. This is a tradition, where students make these sachets for their friends. The legend says that whoever delivers will get everything he wishes for and all his dreams will have come true. Instructor Wang arrives by surprise and puts an end to the whole situation by confiscating his student's sachet, destroying the whole atmosphere between the two classmates. Sun Rong observes that situation and wonders how she will deliver the sachet she made for Ling, since she risks being confiscated just like her colleague. Xiao Yu sneaks up behind the girl and replies that she should wait for Instructor Wang to leave work, but her friend objects saying that students are not allowed to stay on campus at night, so she tells her that it wouldn't be a problem, after all she lives in the school. And in the school's underground, Jian Lu Ying uses her voice to control an arrow that her sister had previously shot, the villain realizing that the world's spiritual force has dropped, thus causing the seal that binds her to be weakened as well. Back in the classroom, the group of friends was talking about the mirror of the moon bridge, and Chen Zhao was curious about it. After all, he had never heard about anything related. Kuo Hao then explains that this is one of the 4 bizarre stories of the college. He tells that according to the legend, at midnight on August 7th, if you go to the bathroom mirror on the 2nd floor, you can see your future. Chen Zhao says that it is the 6th and for this reason many students may come to campus that night. Kuo then warns him that many other supernatural things happen that night, such as the spirit girl laughing at midnight, a mysterious hand coming out of the bathroom, and an elevator that takes anyone to hell. The young man then finishes by saying that these were just false stories that someone created with the intention of scaring the students. Sun Rong enters the classroom and hits Wang Ling 3 times on the head with a small wooden board and leaves. His friends then deduce that this was a hint that the girl wants to meet him on campus at midnight. That night, the prodigy girl was waiting for her friend, and when she sees him arrive she gets excited. After all, he understood her signal, but her joy quickly goes away when she sees that the young man came accompanied by Kuo Hao and Chen Zhao. So, with her plan ruined, the group of friends enter the college in search of the spirit legends. Chen Zhao is immediately startled by a cat walking through the school's garden, and to show his classmates that he is brave, he takes the lead and walks alone down the hall until he bumps into Xiao Yu, giving him a huge fright. Sun Rong says that she contacted the girl to be the group's guide, since the girl lived in the school itself. At that moment, the young people hear an evil laugh and then a tremor throughout the courtyard. Kuo Hao tells them that this could be one of the legends, the spirit girl who laughs at midnight, but it is revealed that the person responsible for this is Jian Lu Yi, who has finally managed to free herself from her underground prison. The assassin manages to open a huge hole in the wall where a huge amount of water starts to leak out. The villainess then starts her escape. Chen Zhao and his friend are in the men's room and suddenly they begin to hear a strange noise coming from one of the booths. That strange sound was Lu Ying climbing up the school's plumbing, the passage she opened connected to the school's sewer. Kuo Hao takes courage and goes to check what was causing that sound. When he opens the door, the young man receives a jet of water in his direction that floods part of the bathroom. When Chen Zhao sees this bizarre event, he is overcome by such great fear that his soul leaves his body, thus fainting. Kuo Hao, not understanding anything, looks toward the sanitary booth and is confronted with a horrifying scene. A hand starts to come out of the toilet. The young man lets out a scream and faints just like his friend. Sun Rong goes towards her friends to find out what happened and wonders if this could be the apparition of the strange hand coming out of the bathroom. When she arrives on the scene, she finds his friends passed out and Wang Ling goes to check what was in the cabin. The young man then comes across Lu Ying and without showing any emotion, he pulls the rope of the flush, causing the villain to go back to the pipes. The assassin, after going through all the piping, falls into the room that her sister was hiding in all this time. She then realizes that there is an elevator in that place and immediately makes use of it. The group of friends gathers in a room. Chen Zhao and Kuo Hao are without their spirits. Xiao Yu puts a seal over their faces and explains to her colleagues that in an hour they will wake up, but Sun Rong wonders what happened to make them both unconscious. Wang Ling replies that the toilets were leaking and that this is how they both fell down. At that moment, the guardian spirit of the protagonist warns him that the leader of the Shadow faction is trying to escape again, and after hearing this news, he leaves the room without saying a word. In the elevator as it approaches the surface, Lu Ying is plotting her plan of revenge against the hero, Zhou Yi and her sister. When the elevator doors finally open, Ling was already waiting for her, and with a simple gesture of his hand, the young man makes the assassin crumple at high speed back into the basement of the college. Sun Rong and her friend hear the huge noise and go to see what happened. When they arrive at the place, they notice that there is a big hole in the floor. The prodigy girl then wonders if that is the elevator that takes anyone to hell. Xiao Yu tells her that she is going to the bathroom, but Ling's guardian spirit wonders what that demon is planning to do. The master of the trotting frog thus reveals his plan to open a portal to the demon world at midnight and send Sun Rong to that place, since her ancestors have eliminated many demons over the centuries. Lu Ying manages to surface again and within a fountain, spots her targets walking around the schoolyard. She then jumps out, just waiting for the opportune moment to finish off her victims. Sun Rong finds herself in front of the magic mirror with Wang Ling. The girl then says that at midnight that object could show the future of whoever is there, but the young man, looking at his reflection, realizes that the assassin was spying on the two of them behind a statue. And just as the prodigy girl was about to deliver her sachet, the protagonist is punched in the face by Xiao Yu. The demon then reveals its true face through the mirror, and when Sun Rong thought to counterattack, but is trapped by the negative energy of that spiritual being. The moon then begins to take on a bloody tone as the portal to the demonic realm begins to open. That creature finally opens the passage, but just as it was about to send Sun Rong there, Lu Ying advances toward it, saying that that girl would be her victim. Wang Ling at this moment reacts and manages to save his friend, telling the assassin that he will not let it happen again. Lu Ying then hits Xiao Yu, who has the demon spirit removed from her body and is thrown back into the demon world, causing the mirror to break into several pieces, thus destroying the portal. Wang Ling finishes the whole situation by punching the villain in the middle of the face, who is thrown away at an impressive speed. The young man at this moment understands that all this time his friend only wanted to give him her sachet. At a meeting on the space station, the hero Zhou Yi is together with all the world leaders to discuss the power outage in the world and how it affected the safety of the inhabitants. However, everyone's transmission is cut off and the discussion comes to an unexpected end. On the ground, Wang Ling was listening to a voice chat, when Kuo Hao warns the young man that Chen Zhao's father is punishing his son in front of the whole school. When they arrived on the scene, the young man was being questioned about why he had given his energy to a spirit creature. The young man then explains that that guardian was conducting live broadcasts to raise money to save his master, who was seriously injured. His father then judges his attitude as something positive, since he was doing good to his neighbor. In this way, he honors his family name with this action. He then forgives his son, but before he leaves, he asks about the heavenly dog language, a rare family treasure. At this point we learn that Chen Zhao offered this rare object to the spirit creature as a way to help it as well. His father, knowing this, becomes enraged and speaks that he will finish him off, and immediately strikes a blow with his spear towards his son, but only ends up cutting his cell phone in half. After the whole argument between the young man and his father, the group of the young man's friends are walking through the halls of the school and wonder why their friend is acting in this strange way. Xiao Yu then talks about her theory that Chen might be bewitched by a demon that always drains his energy through donations made over the internet, since it was possible to transfer his power online. At that moment the group heard laughter coming from the computer room, and as they arrived at the place, they found their friend again watching the live broadcast from that spirit creature. Unhappy with the situation, they try to create some way to undo the spell that is harming the young man, leaving him without vitality and looking like a mummy. Kuo Hao has the perfect idea to cancel that transmission. The young man then introduces to his friends his digital spirit beast, Trojan. He then sends his virus to the computer of that creature, who realizes that she was trying to be harmed, fights the Trojan horse with her demon. Thus the digital beast is destroyed in a matter of seconds in the classic battle style of the game Undertale. Kuo is extremely sad because he has lost his Trojan that he has had with him for a long time. Wang Ling then remembered the manipulation technique that everyone had learned long ago from instructor Wang, and in this way he could positively influence his friend to get out of that transmission that was already consuming him. Sun Rong offers his friend a drink, since this is the necessary condition for the spell to work. Chen Zhao then takes it and the Wonder Girl conjures the technique with her hand. She then asks him to go home and rest, and as the young man was leaving the computer, the spirit creature, Fairy Fox, calls him back since at that point her popularity was dropping. She then starts to play a mind game with the young man, making a drama and telling him all the time that she needs his presence there to be happy. Chen Zhao, hearing those sweet words, manages to break the spell that Sun Rong had done, leaving her friend in disbelief of what happened at that moment. And at that moment, the young man returns to the broadcast, making the donation of 4 TV sets powered by spiritual energy. So we find out that Fox's fairy master is none other than the demonic being that Wang Ling decimated with his incredible power. He is also the instructor of the trotting frog. And at that moment, that guardian was storing up all the rewards she received to bring back the physical body of her superior. The group of friends, not knowing what else to do, receives a visit from the young man's father, who is disgusted with the whole situation and with all his anger, decides to end it once and for all, cutting in half the monitor that was broadcasting that live. His son becomes desperate and tells him he is going to another dimension, so he connects his body to a connection cable that causes his spirit to enter the digital cyber world. At this point, we discover the true face of Fairy Fox, being a horrible demon who managed to change his appearance only to get all the energy needed to heal his master. Chen Zhao tries to attack that monstrous creature, but can't, since it's only a spirit, so it can't hurt a physical body. That demon then tries to suck the young man's spirit with an energy sucker. However, when all seemed lost, Wang Ling manages to strike a blow to the monster with his fist that traveled through digital cyberspace, thus saving his friend's spirit by bringing it back to his body. At the end of the day, in a report we find out that the hero, Zhou Yi, managed to seize all that energy that was being held by the demon, warning everyone to be careful when transferring their spiritual force over the internet. Chen Zhao doesn't lose his spirit completely. And do you believe that the master of the trotting frog can still return to the human world? And will the Demon King try to come to Earth to seek revenge? So, what did you think of this anime? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like it and subscribe for more anime recaps. See you next time.